What a gorgeous morning it is here this Tuesday morning, and so much to talk about. We'll be going south of the border. Long range fishing continues red hot for the Independence and several other boats. Of course, we are monitoring and watching the Tanner and Cortez Bank regions. How bad was that weather? We told you it was going to get nasty, and also we are watching the islands up north and everywhere else. It's time to set up for the MB, so I'm going to shut my trap and get ready for the MB. Excellent bluefin tuna fishing on board the Grande today as they had 20 fish to 50 pounds. I'll tell you what worked best in terms of tackle in a moment. Dan Ross, Ken Kunkel, and Junior Banda were on board this great trip. Man, they said the fish at about 10 a.m. just started to put on a show, and then they started to bite. A really hot bait. The captain of the Grande was yelling and screaming, "Choose a good hot bait and you will get bit fishing 30-pound fluorocarbon." And he was right. It was full speed. And then just as quickly as the bite emerged, it disappeared, and it was done for the day, so they're off looking for yellowtail right now. It is Dan Ross's birthday, and he said, "I can't think of a better way to celebrate my birthday than to be out here with good friends catching bluefin tuna." Nice hit on the Grande. Hey, good morning, my dear friends, and welcome to beautiful Surfside, California. This absolutely gorgeous Tuesday morning. I mean, it is beautiful. It's warm, it's sunny, the ocean looks good, but our offshore weather, man, that's a different thing. We're going to talk about that. What's going on out there on Tanner and Cortez Bank with our bluefin tuna bite? We told you for several days it was going to blow up. Did it? We'll check south of the border where the long range bite has been phenomenal. Did it stay that way for the Independence down in Ensenada? Paulina, my lovely co-host, when I'm in Ensenada, was doing some kayak fishing. We'll check in on her. And also, our used tackle drive is going great. Michael Limon hooks a giant sand bass from the docks. Grandpa comes to help. What happens in that battle? And of course, we'll check out Channel Islands white sea bass and so much more. You know what time it is. It is time for the morning briefing. Good morning, my friends. Oh, is that good? And is it great to be with you all? Thank you so much for the soaring statistics that we are experiencing, not only here on YouTube, but also on all our social media. It has really been an incredible run, and I can't thank you all enough for making it happen. If you don't mind, hit that like button, share these videos with a friend, subscribe to the Friedman Adventures YouTube channel, and also click that little bell. You'll be notified when there's new content. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Apple Podcast, and Spotify. All right, so much to talk about. Let's jump into it with you. First of all, down in Ensenada, where the offshore fishing has been very hit and miss here recently. It's been a fish here and there. I'm talking about bluefin tuna, occasional yellowfin tuna, but it is very dicey, a little bit breezy offshore of Ensenada today. Most of the focus has been inshore. The fallback is, of course, great rock fishing, and the guys in Ensenada are able to provide that for you on a regular basis, as long as it's not too windy. There's been occasional flare-ups on the Barracuda, becoming less and less frequent here recently. Some big bonita, a little bit of calico and sand bass in there locally also, and we continue to see a halibut or two here and there. Also, those yellowtail that are up breezing underneath the birds in Ensenada Bay, that still happens, less frequency. We'll see if that was just a byproduct of the weekend boat pressure. We'll see if somebody can get on it. Again, it's bird schools, run and gun fishing. You're on a ponga, you run full speed, shut down, throw a surface iron, and see if you can't get a bite. Paulina Fishing Life on Facebook. You need to follow her. I need to go to Ensenada and shoot a show with her again. It's been a while. Pauline, of course, was up here in Southern California with her lovely mother, Berenice, recently, and we had such a great time fishing on the Island Spirit out of Ventura Sport Fishing, doing a surf fishing event right here, and of course, fishing at night with my friend Steve Oropesa inside LA Harbor. It was a great time. It was good to see her. Recently, she was involved in a kayak fishing tournament in beautiful Ensenada. Her first time doing it, and she had an absolute ball out there fishing around, catching some calico bass and some sand bass and some other critters. Everybody involved had a really great time. Her biggest fish was a 2.6-pound sand bass. Paulina, I think Michael might have beaten you fishing the docks yesterday. More on that story in just a little bit. By the way, Sean Morgan, remember he made that catch of yellowfin tuna the other day, a 10 yellowfin tuna somewhere off Dana Point? I have kind of exactly, not exactly, I don't have the GPS numbers, but he told me where he was fishing. I'll share that to you when we get to that in this report, where he caught 10 yellowfin tuna. We'll find out a little bit more about that as we go along. Long range fishing down the Baja coast, several hundred miles, has been nothing short of phenomenal this year. It has been one season to remember. 7, 8-day trips. The summertime long range trips out of San Diego. If you're coming to us from some other part of the world not familiar with this, we have boats out of San Diego, California, who go on 7 and 8-day trips in the summertime. They'll go on 16-day trips when you get to wintertime, but they go on these 7 and 8-day trips down into Mexican waters, down the Baja coast, and they've been catching copious amounts of yellowfin tuna. Great YFT bite again yesterday on board the Independence, and superior grade. I just talked to Brian Pfeiffer on board the Indy, and he's looking for wahoo this morning. Just starting to catch some already on the Who after a phenomenal day of yellowfin tuna fishing. It's been great for all the guys who've been running down there. I don't have to go through a litany of all the long-range boats. Just want to tell you, everybody's been in on nice, great yellowfin tuna. 40 to 80 pounders, sometimes bigger than that. Excellent wahoo fishing down around Alijos Rocks. That has been really, really good. I think Brian's on that right now on the Independence, probably going to pop off a really good day. And also yellowtail fishing has been excellent. There's been some nighttime dropper loop fishing. That's with a heavier sinker down deep. You catch the yellowtail, and then there's the daytime fly line bait. No sinker at all. Catch a nice grade yellowtail. It has been phenomenal. And then those boys will ride into the coast on their way back up here to Southern California, back to San Diego, and they'll go into the Baja coast, where we have seen some exceptional white sea bass fishing this year. More yellowtail, big calico bass, rockfish. It's just been dream scenario, no question about it. And they also have the option on those long-range trips of going out to Tanner and Cortez Bank and fishing for bluefin tuna. Really been fantastic. 5 days on the Independence with Friedman Adventures this coming April 2025. Would love to see you on that trip. So some great stuff going on. If you have unfiled taxes, give our friend Tim Marquez a call. He's been doing it for 35 years, an avid fisherman. He'll take really good care of you, and for your heating and or air conditioning needs, John Lopez at Efficient Heating and Air Conditioning. All right, we've been telling you for quite some time, the weather on Tanner and Cortez yesterday was going to be nasty. Today was going to be nasty. Did you listen to us? Well, some of you already had trips charted. I talked to Max on board the Highliner, and he said it was downright spitty out here, really nasty. We hid at San Clemente Island. Now, last night we did Tackle Shop Confessions over at Island Fishing Tackle, but right before that, we also did the Danny Cadota Show live from our home base at 22nd Street Landing. Got to meet some of the anglers who are about ready to board the Freedom and the Amigo. Really great people, and it was with fingers crossed that we said goodbye to them last night, hoping that they were going to do well. Unfortunately, the Amigo and the Freedom got out about 8 miles, only 8 miles here from San Pedro, and they said, you know what? This kind of sucks. This is really nasty weather. Let's turn it around, point our bow back toward 22nd Street, and give these guys another day and a better chance at catching some fish. So the weather has been an issue out there on Tanner and Cortez Bank. Tomorrow looks more fishable. Also here today, I've talked to guys that are getting knocked around. It's pretty nasty out there again here today. It looks like it's going to be more fishable, but still breezy. And it looks like breezy for at least another 48 hours. We'll keep our eyes on it for you very, very closely. If you have a trip coming up, 25-pound fluorocarbon's been the key. lighter line. Guys prefer you fish 30. I prefer you fish as heavy as you can. Those bluefin have teeth, so you do want to heed that advice and fish as heavy as line as is possible. For circle hook has been working really, really well. Number 4 circle hook. We love those Trocar hooks, by the way. They are strong. Never going to have a problem with those, and they're super sharp also. And choosing a good hot bait makes all the difference in the world. Some recent scores out there. Remember, yesterday was very, very nasty, but some recent scores to give you an idea, because that bite at one point in time this year was full speed, wide open, easy limits. It's not that anymore. It's a little scratchier, but there are boats catching limits on a regular basis, including the Amigo and the Freedom, who had to turn back last night. The previous trip, limits of bluefin tuna. Nothing wrong with that. A day and a half trip. 14 anglers with 28 bluefin tuna on board the Amigo. Not bad. Freedom with 15, 45 bluefin tuna. They had 45 bluefin tuna and a yellowtail. Condor, 22 guys, 3-day trip, 54 bluefin. The big one was 140. They had 5 yellows. Pacific Dawn, 2.5-day trip, 35 bluefin. Big one was 60-pound. Iowa Pacific. Limits of bluefin tuna. It's kind of going back and forth like that. So we're watching that for you very, very closely. Hopefully it's going to calm down. Full day boats out of San Diego that try to get in on the bluefin tuna. The Grande had one of the best days he's had in a long time. It might be because it was Dan Ross's birthday. Dan's a great guy. He was on board to celebrate his birthday with a couple of other dear friends of his. And about 10 a.m., the ocean came to life, and the bluefin wanted to bite. If you could get a good hot bait out there, you got a bite. They ended up with 20 bluefin tuna to about 50 pounds, not far from the Coronado Islands. You can see the islands in the background. Really nice fishing on that fish. And then just as soon as they had appeared, they disappeared, and the guys went into the island. They picked off 5 yellows and had some miscellaneous bass, rockfish, lingcod, stuff like that to go along with it. But a nice hit on board that Grande yesterday. Glad to see that. Hopefully that's a sign of things to come. Liberty was out there knocking around 3 bluefin and a yellowtail. Again, that full day. Boats that leave in the morning out of San Diego, come back that same evening, has been more difficult. That's a good sign. And a nice hit on the Grande for Dan Ross and his birthday. One more time, Dan. Happy birthday, my friend. All right, time to talk islands. And when we talk islands, we talk the Coronado Islands. A lot of those guys are offshore, those full day boats. Some guys are hitting the islands. That yellowtail bite is definitely more hit and miss right now. Some private boaters have had some really good hits here recently. And also some guys that have been fishing on some of the sport boats. By good hits, I would define that from 5 to 20 yellowtail, something like that. So not the wide open bite that we were seeing earlier this year. Also, it was a phenomenal year at the Coronado Islands this year. So if we're kind of putting the bar a little too high, well, I apologize for that. It was just such a phenomenal year. Hopefully that's going to get going again, because the signal at the Coronado Islands is really good. There's still a lot of yellows there. There's a lot of dumb sea lions also, and that has created all kinds of havoc and problems. But we get a little break in conditions and those sea lions go off and chew on something else for a while, I think we could get a rebite on the Coronado Islands. We'll continue to watch that very closely. Breezy out there at San Clemente Island, but a good place to hide out from all that weather that was out there on Tanner and Cortez Bank. Guys picking, a sea bass here and there, a yellow here and there, some calico bass, nothing all that wide open. Thunderbird out yesterday in that weather. I love Jeff Markland. He says, so nice to be fishing out here without a breath of wind. Of course, Jeff was being just a little facetious in his remarks. It was nasty out there yesterday. Guys hiding out at Clemente, picking away at that kind of stuff. At Catalina Island, picking away at a few bass, seeing some yellows, occasionally catching one. Some pretty decent bonito fishing. Rockfish are there if you want that. Whitefish, sheephead, that kind of stuff. But kind of a wide variety of fish and just a little bit of all of that. If you're headed to Catalina Island, do it on the El Patron. Long Beach Sport Fishing, www.longbeachsportfishing.org. Speedy boat, great crew, good grub in the galley, and beautiful Catalina Island, where during the weekdays, Monday through Thursday, you can go for $100. Fridays, $110. The weekends, $135. Get on the El Patron. Moving you up a little bit further into the Channel Islands, we've seen some pretty good sea bass hits here recently. The island tack has been all over the white sea bass recently. Check that out. So there's been some sea bass. It's a little breezy up there this morning. We'll watch that closely. Hopefully we'll get back on it. We've also seen some nice big sheephead and other species like that, big halibut. Check those out. Recently on board the Cobra. Nice hit for the Island Tech and the Cobra. The Island Spirit's been all over the rockfish, providing great table fare. Kids fish free on Sundays on the Island Spirit. They do a great job, and they're out all week long if they get enough reservations. And you can make that reservation by going to venturasportfishing.com or give Saul a call up there in the office and say buenos dias to him for me, because Saul's one of the best, hardest working people you'll ever meet. 805-676-3474. You'll have a ball on the Island Spirit. I guarantee you that. Up north of their verges in Morro Bay and also Avila Beach and areas like that, there's been a little bit of halibut up there, predominantly a rockfish kind of bite up there in San Francisco when the weather permits. Really good striped bass fishing, still catching some halibut. There's albacore offshore, but it's been a little breezy off of San Francisco. We need that weather to come down a little bit, but there's still algae up in that neck of the woods. San Francisco bite has been pretty darn good here recently. Don't forget, we're doing our used tackle drive, everybody. You bring some used tackle to us, we'll get it to the children on Cedros Island. Man, those white birds are making a ruckus. That's always a good sign for some surf fish here on the beach. So we're doing the used tackle thing right now. And I got to tell you, man, warmed my heart. Right before we went on the air with Tackle Shop Confessions last night, Sam walks up to me, Sam De La Torre from Island Fishing Tackle. He says, check this out, man. Here's this box full of reels for the kids from Kaz Okamoto. Kaz Okamoto. He was my student back in 1988 at Bishop Montgomery High School. Kaz, I can't thank you enough. You, your family, and all your loved ones. Man, thanks for thinking of others. Thanks for remembering this old man, man. It's been a long time. I think something like 36 years. Thank you so very much. It's deeply appreciated. And then Doug Tilt. Doug's a great guy. He does so much for us here at Friedman Adventures. Comes down to 22nd Street Landing. Donates some really beautiful reels for the kids on Cedros. And also Doug, or Mike Crawford, I should say. Mike drives all the way from Menifee and comes all the way an hour and a half drive to 22nd Street. Donates rods and reels for the kids. It was spectacular. Don't forget, you can drop off your used tackle at several locations right now. We need to add some more. I'll work on that for you very, very hard here today. I need to add some San Diego locations to this. But Tackle Express, Santa Clarita, California. Also, Ventura Sport Fishing. Also, Eric's Tackle in Ventura. Hook, line, and sinker up there in Santa Barbara. Island Fishing Tackle in Carson, California. Big Fish Bait and Tackle right down here on the corner of Seal Beach Boulevard and Pacific Coast Highway. And in Bellflower, we got Young's Fishing Tackle. Thank you all. Thank you all for all you're doing for the kids of Cedros Island. And I'm working with Diego Nuno, deckhand on the Royal Star. Happy birthday, Diego. Working with him to get this all to the island. Diego was born on the island of Cedros, so you know his heart and soul are in on this. All right, let's talk that offshore yellowfin tuna for a moment. So the other day, Sean Morgan comes up with a nice catch of yellowfin tuna, 10 yellowfin tuna. The big one went 65 pounds. I think that's 2 days ago, 3 days ago now. And his lips were sealed as to the location. Well, now he's divulging the location, to which I say, probably way too late. Now we got some wind and conditions have changed. And the last time I checked, those yellowfin tuna had tails and move around a lot. Anyway, breaking news here at Friedman Adventures. Captain Sean Morgan, who made an incredible catch. Yeah, I know, I'm being facetious also. Made a monumental catch of 10 yellowfin tuna in Southern California. The best catch of yellowfin tuna so far here in 2024. That is true, by the way. 10 yellowfin tuna. He says he was 6 to 7 miles south of the 267. 6 to 7 miles south of the 267. So if you go out there and you find a pod of dolphin. They were mixed up with the dolphin. Hopefully somebody else will come up with a hit on the YFT. If you do, please let me know. We'll keep our eyes on that for you very, very closely. Down in San Diego, we're checking out what's going on down there on the local bite, and it's still pretty good calico bass. It's a little more inconsistent. There's some slow half-day trips mixed in with some really good ones. A lot of bonito down there, a lot of calico bass, some sand bass, plenty of rockfish. It's been pretty darn good. On the new Seaforth the other day, they had a sheephead, a goat, a vieja that went 28.7 pounds. That is a big fish. Yesterday morning on the new Seaforth, kind of slow, but in the afternoon, the calico bass turned on the dolphin. Similar kinds of situations with some good fishing. Premier has had some good sand bass hits here from time to time, and also some good calico bass. It's been really good local fishing, but again, there's some slower trips mixed in with that right now. Moving you up the coast of Western Pride, good calico bass fishing. They've been all over it. Excellent calico bass fishing for the Western Pride out of Davies Locker. They keep hammering out some good catch, a little bit of Oceanside here out of San Pedro and Long Beach area. Nice hit on the Monte Carlo out of 22nd Street Landing. 46, guys. 92 calico bass. They had 4 white sea bass. Shorts, they released those. And some action on a few sculpin and whitefish and that kind of stuff. But almost 100 calico bass. One of the better bass bites we've seen in a while there out of Marina del Rey. Some good nighttime fishing when they run twilights on the weekend on some bigger sand bass during the daytime. Picking at the bass also. Mostly rockfish up there in the Channel Islands. We've kind of covered that already for you also. Again, we have seen some pretty good fishing from time to time. All right, how about we get to the Michael Limon story during the Danny Cadota show. Michael Limon is down on the docks. He's yelling and screaming. In fact, Danny Cadota is even cheering him on. Michael, the fish is taking drag. Hang on, buddy. He gets it to the surface, and Grandpa runs over to help him. Dan Lightfoot, who's lost so much weight on the carnivore diet with yours truly, so he's agile now, and he's fit, and he's able to go down and bust off a perfectly beautiful estimated 18-inch sand bass. And Michael Limon, his heart was broken. In fact, he said, Grandpa, you never ever get to touch my line or my rod again after that. To which Dan Lightfoot said, thank God, because I am so tired of rigging you up. It's about time you learned how to do it. Really a lot of fun down there on the docks yesterday. Pretty comical to see that. And man, Michael, we'll count that as a catch and release. And I think it was bigger than Paulina's sand bass down there in Ensenada. I think you two need to have a little fish off one of these days. All right, let's talk about the Southern California surf. And I got to take you down to Big Fish Bait and Tackle in the corner of Seal Beach Boulevard and Pacific Coast Highway. They got all the bait you'll need, all the tackle you'll need, not only for surf fishing, because they are your Southern California surf fishing headquarters, but they've got gear for marlin, bluefin, everything you'll need for a successful day out on the water. Some decent perch fishing down there around Huntington Beach. A lot of sand crabs around the pier, so you can make some crabs. Unfortunately, those perch are tiny, like palm size. There's occasional corvina down that way. Also, we've seen a little bit of yellowfin croaker and corvina here. Also, I've seen these white term birds. I can see them way out there. See those things? They've been picking around here. That's always a good sign that something is going on. They're way offshore here this morning, however, but early this morning when I was first there, they were picking in the surf, and that's an indication there's bait here, and there's probably some predators behind it up there around the Santa Monica Bay and El Segundo area. Just great corvina fishing. The warm water seems to be up there around El Segundo. You know, you have a plane flying over your head out of LAX or in that vicinity, you're in the right spot. Catching corvina up there has been really good. That bubble of warm water seems to be hanging out up in that neck of the woods, so we'll keep our eyes on that for you because we've seen some pretty decent surf fishing. Don't forget, largest halibut this month, and we're starting to get deeper into the month, wins a free custom surf fishing rod from Big Fish Bait and Tackle. All you got to do is go in there to Big Fish, purchase your ruler. It's a ruler that you need to measure your prize catch with. I think it's $8, something like that. And then you are in, and it's every single month. It's not just September. Next month, it'll be a different type of fish, but you'll still be eligible to win another custom rod. There's no more fees, no more expenses. It's just purchasing that ruler. It'll give you something to do this wintertime. I got to marvel at that with you all one more time. Check that out. It is gorgeous. It does belie the fact that it's windy offshore. We'll keep our eyes on that. And now Sean Morgan has divulged where he made that phenomenal catch of yellowfin tuna, even though he divulged it way too late. Maybe somebody will get out there and find some dolphin and find a yellowfin tuna or two, and we still have a chance for that to happen. Remember, some maniac has been saying the best weather months of the year in Southern California are in the fall. People are like, hey, you keep saying it's the best weather months and the fan won't stop. It's still summertime, okay? I don't know when it changes to fall. It's got to be around the 23rd of September. That would be my guess. So I still have some time, just in time for our Apollo trip, departing the 24th through the 26th. Fall will officially be here and we'll have flat, calm weather. At least that's the way I drew it up. Have a great day. We'll keep you in touch with all the very latest here at Friedman Adventures. Don't forget Instagram, Friedman Adventures, Facebook, Friedman Adventures, TikTok, Friedman Adventures. Sign up for all those. You'll get so much more information throughout the day, and we'll keep you entertained with some great sport fishing. Don't forget also October, Florida content. I'll be in Florida. We'll be checking out some tackle stores, hopefully getting in on the mullet run when the mullet come up on the beaches. And right there, 100-pound tarpon and other species are feeding on them. I hope to be able to fly line a mullet and hang one of those things for you. That would be fun. All right, have a great Tuesday. We'll keep in touch with all the very latest, and I hope to see you really, really soon.